Magnet Warriors are top tier. That's it. Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are taking a look at Magnet Warriors, or more specifically, the new Magnet Warrior support, alongside some other important cards, like the Adamancipators and Block Dragon and what have you. So we're going to take a look at that all together. If you haven't seen, these new support cards are absolutely insane. We're going to start off here with Conduction Warrior Linear Magnum Plus Minus. Almost every single one of these cards is read like this, said like this. I don't know why they decided to have the most convoluted naming scheme, but they did. So let me explain. This is a level 7 double Foolish Burial. And then a free special summon. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned from the hand by sending 2 Magnet Warrior monsters with an original level of 4 or lower from hand, deck, and or face of field to the grave to special summon this card. And then it can also do other things. If destroyed, it's added back to the hand. Fantastic. Here's the thing. It's double Foolish, which matters a lot, because it does the whole combo by itself. Because you can send Epsilon, sorry, not ellipsis, Epsilon and Sigma Plus in order to utilize Sigma Plus effect, which is that when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior in your grave, special summon it, or add it to the hand. You special summon the Epsilon, which says on normal or special, send a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to the grave in order to then have this monster's name become that sent monster's name until the end phase, and then special summon a Magnet Warrior or Magnet Warrior or Magna Warrior monster from your grave with a different name from the cards you control. Meaning, if you, for example, sent this one, summoning this one's effect sending a differently named monster, you can then reborn the previous monster, giving you a level 7 and 2 level 4s onto the board, which then also gives you the ability to go into Gallant Granite, which we all know what we're searching with Gallant Granite. That's right. Fossil Dynapachycephalo, or the Rock Barrier statue, or, because I have a soul, Block Dragon. Okay, I'm lying to you. We're basically also just immediately killing our opponent with some other form of FTK. But yeah, you could also search Block Dragon, or the other 2 named cards. Cool. Now, here's the thing. You might not think that that's all that crazy, because, oh, it's a 3 of. No, don't worry. It's technically a 9 of. Duotarion and Magnet Bonding, which I only have 2 of because I'm poor, not because I wouldn't play 3. You should be playing 3 of this. Duotarion, which searches out Magnet Bonding, and Magnet Bonding can also search this card. For some reason, yeah. Do you know what's funny? Beta also gets you access to this, because Beta the Magnet Warrior can add Sigma Minus, which is one of the new support cards as well, and Sigma Minus can reveal itself from the hand in order to fusion summon a rock fusion monster, utilizing itself and another card, either in your hand or field. Notably, you go into Conduction Warrior Magna, or Plasma Magna, which says face-up monsters on the field become Earth. That's hilarious. Second of all, it also has the effect where on Fusion Summon it adds a Magnet Normal, Quick Play, or Field Spell from your deck to your hand, adding you the Magnet Bonding. On top of that, if this card is, you can also then send a Magna Warrior level 8 monster from your deck to the grave, which we have a target for, and then get an additional normal summon of a Magnet Warrior. Fantastic. Here's the thing. This card right here is one of the most push cards I've ever seen. Because not only is it a quick play search spell, it also is a quick play fusion spell, and it can search multiple times. It can also use every single one of its effects in the same turn. You can search out a level 4 or lower, or the plus minus. You can search out a level 8 Magna Warrior, and you can fusion summon, all in the same turn. That's it. It's incredible. Also, by the way, the fusion summon utilizes from hand, field, grave, and or banishment. Incredible. Now we have another target that I got to talk about. I'm kind of doing this very differently from what I would normally do, and the reason for it is because I just want you to know how insanely pushed these cards are. They're wildly powerful, and you gotta understand that. We have a new non-archetypal card, but it is basically a Magnet Warrior, because what it says is it is a Earth Rock monster. There you go. That requires a level 5 or higher Earth monster and a Rock monster. Very easy to fusion summon in this deck, utilizing either Sigma Minus, which is a generic fusion, or Magnet Bonding, which is also a generic fusion for a rock fusion monster. This happens to be. This says on fusion summon, you reborn a guy. Or you could special summon it from hand. And then on top of that, you can quick effect target one earth monster you control and a card your opponent controls and bounce them. So it's also disruption and extension. Yeah, all of these cards are absolutely busted. I'm not even talking about things like Delusion or Omega Plus or anything else. These are just insanely powerful, and almost all of them are brand spanking new. On top of that, this deck is relatively cheap, as you can see here. Either you're playing a bunch of staple cards in the extra deck or in the main deck, or it is a grand total of 8 archetypal cards. That's it. This is pretty standard. You could theoretically play more of the fusions. You could also theoretically play the not that one. The Magna Warrior guy. Hold on, let me find him. I gotta find him. You could also theoretically play Imperium Magnum, which is just Baron, but worse, and requires you to play 2 bricks. But all in all, this deck is also incredibly cheap. Now, with that being said, let's go over the rest of the cards in this deck. First and foremost, we are playing a myriad of hand traps. Droll, Maxi, Ash, Nibiru, Fualos, and we do have the ability to play Purge. I'm specifically curating my deck in a way to be able to play Purge, so I'm not playing the Fiendsmith cards. I think that Purge is worth it, so there you go. Though, that being said, the Fiendsmith cards wouldn't matter here, but it is something of note. Also, the limitation to dark monsters doesn't matter if this guy is on the field, because he changes everything to Earth. So if you have something like IP Masquerena, or SP Little Knight, or something else of that nature, it doesn't matter, you still get access to it, because this guy changes them to Earth, and now you can activate the effect. Fantastic. On top of that, we're also playing the Adamancipators, Adamancipator Seeker, and 3 Researcher, as search targets for Block Dragon. Yeah, we're an Earth deck, and Block Dragon's not banned. We're playing multiple of this guy. He's very searchable off of Gallengren, as previously mentioned, and is extremely powerful. Summoning him multiple times is very easy in this deck. You dump a whole bunch of cards. In fact, just off of this one individual card, you get enough material to not only search the card, but also summon it multiple times. I mean, it's pretty good. That's pretty good in my mind. On top of that, we're also playing Kawaki Myru Guardian, because guess what? We don't actually have a normal summon. We just normal summon this guy. Yeah, you just have insulation for your combo as well. Fantastic. And that is pretty much it for the deck. We're playing 43 because we do have a few bricks in our deck, but also we're incredibly consistent. I never didn't have a way to play the game and not just do the full combo. There were a lot of times where even being able to go like a Kawaki Myru Guardian and an Adamancipator did the whole combo anyway. So yeah, oftentimes I just had all that I needed. Very silly. We're also playing things like Called by and Crossout, because Droll is a bit of a problem, so there's that. That being said, you can still play under Droll pretty effectively. In fact, I Drolled myself once and ended up winning the game because of it. Anyway, the extra deck, as previously mentioned, we had those 2 fusion monsters. We're also playing both Raptite and Dragite. If you're wondering why Dragite's in here, while we do have the ability to use Duoteron as a negation for it, it also just bounces cards, which is pretty good. We're also playing Borreload Savage Dragon and Baron, as well as everyone's favorite Nat Beast. This guy's level 3. For sure you knew that, right? We're also playing a few rank 4s in Dugaris and Gallantgren, as previously mentioned. This could also be anything. Guess what? You can make Habakiri. Or I should say, you can make King of the Feral Imps and then search Habakiri and then do the full Mitsu line. I'm not doing that, because I don't actually think it's better. Block Dragon is arguably better. Anyway, then we have a whole bunch of Link monsters, IP Masquerena, as previously mentioned, SP Little Knight. We also have Dogorad, which is kind of funny, but basically you can pop a card if it has lower attack than this guy's attack, and he boosts his own attack on special summon. Just requires a rock monster. It's very silly, and I like him. He's cute. On top of that, we have, of course, Elf, Ausa, and Cross Sheep as well. And that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alrighty, so here we are going first, and our hand looks very good, starting off with our Magnum here. We can just immediately dump them to the grave. Yeah, this doesn't start a chain. It doesn't activate, doesn't do anything. You just... Here's the guy, for free, unlike Circular. My opponent's going to go for the Maxi here on our activation to special summon, which really sucks. Because here's the thing, we want to search a whole bunch of cards, but we also want to special summon a whole bunch of cards. So instead, I'm going to droll my opponent here, kind of forcing us to not really invest too much, but we did end up drawing the Adamancipator Researcher, so we can still kind of go from here. We're going to go into the Raptide after getting ashed here. We're going to activate the Raptide effect, and of course, they have another interruption. That's fine. We're going to normal summon a guy here. And then I do kind of goof here, because what I should have done is normal summon Beta so that we had a level 3, because then I could go Nat Beast. Oops, my bad. Here we're just going to go for the Elf after stealing their Maxi. Summon back the Researcher here, and then I special summon our guy and grab back the Conduction Warrior. And from here, I actually decide to go IP Masquerena into Dogorad. And the reason for this is because Dogorad gives us the pop here, and then we also can go Elf. If they have a monster on the field, we can go Elf, bring back a guy, and then utilize the IP Masquerena to give us SP Little Knight or something else of that nature. So that was the plan there. However, my opponent elects to, well, not do anything until we go for the, well, they had called by, it didn't matter. So it kind of sucks there. Nothing I can do about that. They're going to go for the Kaiba Man, though, which is very funny. Out comes the Blue Eyes. I just pop it. Just not going to allow that. They do have the Drill Beam, obviously, for the Elf, but this guy can't be targeted, so it's not that big a deal. And this cuts them off of doing, like, all of the big things, or at the very least generating a little bit more advantage from their effects because of the Lordly Load activation that they are forced. Nonetheless, we do have, again, the follow-up in hand, so we can just special summon this guy. However, I do make a bit of a goof. What I should have done is just normaled Beta, because they allowed me to go into main phase without activating the effective Spirit Dragon in order to go into their Omni Negate. So I do get to go for the Beta here to search out the actual Fusion monster now that we can search. So we're going to go for the Fusion, or the Fusion spell, I should say. We're going to go for the Fusion here in order to go into Flux. Flux effect is going to activate. They are going to elect to negate. Not that big of a deal. We just bounce here and then go to combat. At this point, we are in control of the situation. We know one of the cards in hand. We just need them to fade a draw step. Let's see what they make. Fantastic. That is fading a draw step. That card doesn't do anything for them here. Sure, they get to search out a Blue Eyes monster. They search out the Chaos Max. But again, we have Nibiru. No matter what they do, we can just bounce with our Fusion monster there. And there you go. Good game. Alrighty, so here we are once again going first. And our hand looks pretty good. Kawakimaru and Bonding is pretty solid. So we're going to start off here by normal summoning the Kawakimaru, going for the Bonding in order to add to our hand the Circular. We're going to dump 2 special summon out our guy, and now we get to make the rank work. So Epsilon, dump Beta in order to special summon the Sigma, and go Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite effect is going to activate. We're going to add to our hand the Blocky Boy, and then link off into a Cross EP. We're then going to special summon it, and then just use those as material to go into Elf, so that we have access to it. We're going to grab Researcher and Seeker and another level 4, that being the Sigma Minus. Yeah, Sigma Minus also is pretty useful here. Either way, we are going to activate the effect of our our Researcher, which gives us Beta. We just happen to hit it, so now we can search an additional guy. But then we're going to try again, and I whiffed this time, so didn't really get anything. That's fine. I'll go into Nat Beast. Yay. No more spells. And then we can also go into Baron. Yay. Now, here's the thing. We're not done. So, first and foremost, we're going to go for the new Conduction Warrior, which is going to add out Bonding. Bonding is going to be utilized later. But first and foremost, we are going to get the extra normal summon and then go into Doug. Doug here is just going to draw some cards. They're not great, but hey, you could potentially draw hand traps there. We special summon out our level 8 from Grave, which does actually do something when the opponent activates a monster effect. You can target... you can target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it, and then if it's an Earth, you could take control of it instead. Or when the opponent, or just during the opponent's turn, you could tribute it to special summon back the 2 banished monsters. So we banish these 2 in order to special summon it. From there, we're going to actually just pop card it so that we can get the Block Dragon onto our field to gain protection for our rock monsters. That's the idea. So all in all, it's a pretty solid end board. Obviously, our Nat Beast gets tributed because of course it does. But yeah, we had Nat Beast to negate all spells. We had Baron as well. We had Elf, protecting those two from targeting. We have Delusion, which is that pop. We have Flux, which is a bounce. And we have Block Dragon as protection for the rest of our rocks. This is a very formidable board, not to mention we have a Droll in our hand, so that's that. They're going to activate the Raigeki. Of course, we're negating that. They're going to go triple attack to take. Yeah, sure. It's fine, because guess what? All of our rocks are protected. So they're going to activate the new Raigeki Illusion Gate, which is a card. They also then steal Nat Beast, which is very funny, and make Zombie Vamp, because yeah, that is how that card works. Anyway, the Zombie Vamp mill a whole bunch and go into Darkhold Dragon, which is hilarious. I'm going to put back my Researcher so that I have it for later, but my opponent's going to go for the Zayas. They're going to activate the effect of the Zayas. I'm going to pop the Zayas, and then I'm also going to tag out here, which, while my cards do go to the graveyard, they also trigger here as well. So Block Dragon and Sigma are going to trigger. Sigma's just going to reborn a guy, and I'm going to grab 2 Guardians to my hand. At this point, I'm pretty comfortable with what's happening here. So, yeah, there's that. We do skip the draw phase. Not that big of a deal. We're going to just normal summon the Kawakimaru Guardian, go for the Researcher. They're going to pop. I could have negated this, but I don't really care too much. I'm pretty sure we just have the lethal line anyway, even through Darkhold Dragon. Sure, that's fine. We're going to go for the Block Dragon. Then we're going to fuse off into the Conduction Plasma, which we did put back earlier, and then go into IP Mask Arena, which may seem strange, but... We're going to grab another Block Dragon off of Block Dragon, which is funny. But at this point, we can go into the Dogorad, which is just big enough. So, yeah. Boost up, make another Block Dragon. By the way, I summoned Block Dragon 4 times that turn. Ain't that crazy? 4 times? 3 times. Multiple times. I've summoned it at least 4 times this game. I think it's been 5. But, yeah. We just walk over the field and, good game. Look, my opponent may not have been playing the best deck, but they did have multiple ways of wiping my board. Luckily, Block Dragon's stupid. Alrighty, here we are going second, and I'm not gonna lie, this game is only in here because it was funny and sad, so I'm gonna showcase it to ya. My opponent's gonna reveal that they're on Ashen. Whoa, cool. And they have the new Queen of the Blazing something or other. I forget what this one is called. But they're gonna pop 2 cards, including the Ashen City, which is just going to be ashed. So there's that. Cool, pass. There, yeah, there you go. Notably, this does have a Floodgate effect. Just monsters sent from the field to the grave are banished. So there's that. We're going to go for the Adamancipator here in order to grab Beta. Beta is going to grab Sigma. Then we're going to go for the Analyzer, or for the Seeker. And the Seeker is going to reveal 3. Did you see that? It was all 3 Dominus Purge and a Duotarion. Notably, we also do grab the Kawakimaru Guardian. We're going to go for the Raptite here, and I actually don't remember. Yeah, I do special summon here. And the reason for this is because we can go for the Dragite. Dragite is going to reveal at least 1 rock, which means that we can bounce this to the hand. Cool, now we can actually go for the Sigma and go for the Fusion, now that our monsters won't be sent to the graveyard. My opponent's going to activate the Nibiru that they had in hand. Good thing we had Kawakimaru Guardian. There you go. And at this point, yeah, we get to do pretty much everything and anything, and we're off to the races, grabbing up that magnet bonding, and then just killing our opponent into the sun. So they decided to pack it up, seeing the writing on the wall. At that point, we could also make, like, Baron or Nat Beast or anything else. So, yeah, good game. All right, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is really solid. There's a bunch of different ways that you can play the Magnet Warrior engine, I guess, or play a Magnet Warrior deck. Obviously, you can play it more pure, even without, like, Adamancipators and what have you. The deck still has a lot of different ideas and concept, or not ideas, but, like, powerhouses, right? Imperium Magnum is a powerful card. It's an Omni Negate, and also it puts back multiple of your guys, not puts back, summons them, so that's pretty solid. Bonding is an incredible powerhouse. Things like Delusion is very strong, as well as the Flux and Plasma Magnum, as well as all of the other generic cards that you have access to, like Nat Beast and what have you. So there's a bunch of other things that you can do in addition to all of this stuff. Not to mention Nat Beast, Baron, Block Dragon, ban-worthy cards that are all absolutely available to you and you can make very easily. Not to mention the fact that you can play with a myriad of other engines. Fiendsmith, Mitsurugi, something that requires a rank 4 to start, something that requires a rank 3 to start, something that requires a synchro monster to start. You basically get access to all of that. None of these cards lock you in any meaningful capacity. I don't think any of them do, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's a single lock in this deck. So there's that. I guess this would matter. Like, if you summon this guy, at that point, you can't go into something that requires attributes of non-earth variety, so that could be a potential problem. But other than that, like, yeah, you're off to the races. You literally don't need anything else in particular. You could just go. Hell, you could play Tri-Brigade with this, because at the very least, you'd be able to make the rank 4 that sets Tenki, and then you could go Tenki into Tri-Brigade. I'm not saying it's good, I'm just saying you could. And the thing is, again, all of this combo is done off of this guy, which is incredibly searchable, off of Duoterion and Magnet Bonding and itself, and it doesn't start a chain, nor take up your normal summon. This deck's really good. I still don't think it's comparable to that of, like, Yummy in terms of its end board, or the amount that it does, or even Mitsurugi for that matter, but overall, it's a comparable deck that is going to be at least somewhat competitive, similar to where Man is in terms of power level, or White Forest, or something else of that nature, right? It's powerful, but not the best deck in the room. And that is pretty solid, given how powerful Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel currently is, and at least it's cool. So there you go. There's Magnus. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, like us very much, I'll appreciate it. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.